Zhang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez did not disappoint. We saw Tatiana come into this fight at 11-0, facing the champ, facing the best in the world. This is mixed martial arts, facing a woman who's well-versed in all areas. Not just well-versed, incredibly well-versed. She's the best. And her stand-up is what really separates her. Going into this fight, Tatiana Suarez knew she had a major advantage. She knew she had the advantage if she can get Zhang Weili down to the ground. There's a downside to that. Can you keep her down on the ground, and for how long? Every single round starts standing up. Going into this fight, we saw an 11-0 Tatiana Suarez, a woman who's never faced defeat, really get a big chance in life. This was it for her. This was her big chance to prove it on the big stage in Australia that she's the best in the world. There was a problem. And we began to see it in this fight. A problem that hadn't really surfaced up until now. We saw that she wasn't good enough. Sad to say, she worked her whole life for this. She worked her whole life for this one moment. She really got to realize at a certain point in this fight, which I think was the third round, that it was slipping away from her. It was slipping away, and it was slipping away fast. And it could have came back. You didn't know in that third round. She felt it. And I know Tatiana felt it. I know she knew that if she couldn't really grab a hold of Zhang Weili, and if she couldn't really strike with her at that point, really knock her in the face, show her, you got no business being in the cage with me, that she was going to begin to lose. And that's what happened. Going into the first round, Tatiana Suarez came out strong, and she flipped Zhang Weili onto the ground. She maintained that round. She really won the first round. It looked like it was going to be Suarez's night. Suarez looked like she was in control. She was bigger, stronger. Since she can grab her, that she was just going to take advantage of her. Second round wasn't the same as the first. It was Zhang Weili's round, but it wasn't by that much. It was still a close fight. We began to see that Tatiana was rudimentary in her technique. She was going to continue to go for that takedown over and over again. And the problem was she didn't stand and bang for even an instant or a minute. Whatever stand-up she did, Zhang Weili wasn't believing in it. Neither was I. Zhang Weili on the feet was going to slaughter Tatiana Suarez. And Suarez knew it. Started to look desperate in the third round. In the third round, the takedowns, she was missing. She was going for a double leg takedown or just trying to get two underhooks, take her down, and it was starting to look more desperate as the fight went on. Third round is where Tatiana Suarez really needed to stop trying to take her down. Really needed to stand up and really needed to hit Zhang Weili. It wasn't going to work because Zhang Weili still had her foot movement on par. Tatiana's was beginning to fall apart. Next two rounds didn't go that well. The fight began to slip away. There's going to be some excuses about Tatiana's knee. I don't want to hear about that. Pathetic. The fact is, Tatiana lost the fight, and she lost it miserably. She really didn't fight a good fight. For a woman who was undefeated and fought her whole life to get to this point in time, she's got to be upset with herself. And the question is does she come back from here? Does she come back stronger? She's got incredible assets. She's incredibly strong. And she proved in this fight that she's got a great chin. She can take a shot. And she knows what it's like to be out with the best in the world now. And she knows what it's like to lose. And she knows what she needs to work on. She needs to work on that striking. She needs to work on her speed, foot movement, stuff like that. That's enough with the wrestling. The wrestling, she's been wrestling since she was a little girl. She's great at wrestling. She's got to stay away from what she's great at and really round herself out in order to beat Zhang Weili. Or you never know. Time is a really weird thing. And sometimes if you just keep trying, sometimes life goes your way. It's called a gamble. We saw Tatiana Suarez prove herself tonight that she wasn't good enough to win the title. And we saw that Zhang Weili is just absolutely incredible. She's the best in the world. Moving on from this fight, you got to wonder what's next for Zhang Weili. I want to ask you, the fan, what do you want to see next for Zhang Weili? And what do you want to see next for Tatiana Suarez? What do you really think that now that she's still going to be ranked number one in the land, she's still going to be lurking around for that title shot? Do you think she's going to get another title shot soon? Or do you think we're going to see things go in a different direction? Do you agree with me? Do you think that the fight she fought was lackluster? It was miserable in terms of her trajectory so far in her career, that she could have fought a better fight? Or do you disagree with me? Do you think that Tatiana Suarez really fought a good fight that she just didn't get the win? On the judges' scorecards, it was unanimous. 49-46, and I don't know how the other judge got 49-45, but if I would have scored it, I would have said 49-46. I think that Tatiana Suarez won the first round. I think she was on schedule to win the fight after the first round. I just think she really needed to punch Zhang Weili in the face. I think she needed to strike with her. I think she's a bigger, stronger woman, and she needed to bully her around. If she would have done that, if she would have at least convinced Zhang Weili that she could mess her up standing up, I think she could have won the fight. I think that's the big mistake she made here, is that she just continuously went for the takedown. I know it worked in the first round. Once it started to get desperate, once she couldn't even take her down, she needed to stop. Then she just kept on pressing up against Zhang Weili, and we saw in the 5th round, Zhang Weili standing on one leg. Incredible takedown defense. Zhang Weili had figured out Tatiana Suarez at that point. She had figured out exactly what the takedown was going to be like, and it wasn't working at all. After the 5th round, I think that Tatiana Suarez was completely useless. I think Zhang Weili was about to smash her. It was only a matter of time. Tatiana Suarez couldn't strike, and she couldn't take anybody down. She was a sitting duck. I think she's lucky that it went to the judges' scorecards. There's no way she was going to win this fight. Tatiana Suarez lost the fight. Lost it miserably, pathetically, and I think she really needs to be upset with herself. But she's got to remember that she's #1 in the land. She's got it right now. She's got the name. Everybody knows about her. All she has to do is mix around those skills a little bit more, hone in on what assets she really has, and we might see Tatiana Suarez come back as the next champ. I hope Tatiana, if she's listening, and if anyone out there commenting on her Twitter or Instagram or whatever, tells her just that. Tells her that, Tatiana, you're good. You know you're good. It's just you're about 95%. You just gotta practice that striking. You gotta really hit people hard. If Tatiana would have just hit her hard in the first round and taken her down, could have been the end for Zhang Weili. Unfortunately, she let Zhang Weili really see her attack. It's not going to work again. As much as it worked in her entire career, as dominant as her wrestling and strength really were throughout her entire career, it didn't work this time. We need to see a new Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez, even if she's not such a great striker, she needs to fake it. She needs to come into her next fights and be willing to get knocked out. Be willing to take a hit. Be willing to trade. Not care if she gets knocked out. That's the Tatiana Suarez we need to see. Tatiana Suarez needs to come out, really go for the stand-up, really hit people hard, and then take them down. Once they're beaten up and they're dizzy, just drop them to the ground and finish them. Then we'll see the best Tatiana Suarez that we could possibly see. If she comes back again the way she did tonight, and she just looks to wrestle, it's not going to work. We're going to see the end of her. We're going to see a Tatiana Suarez that everybody knows what she's going to do. She can only beat up mediocre opponents. Subscribe to my channel, guys. It's me, Paulie G. Hope you're all well, and I'll see you soon.